Jennifer. Next up is Grant Church.
Honorable Mayor Bentley and members of council. Firstly, I commend the council for voting for a by-election in Ward 4. You gained an immense amount of respect for it. I've been a donor to World Vision since 1980, giving a small amount of money every year, supporting the poorest of the poor, the hungriest of the hungry, and the most destitute of the destitute, caused by famine, war, and corruption. Food production and preservation of farmland have been a concern of mine. Farmland in this province is disappearing at a rate of 319 acres per day. It will only accelerate under the Ford government's housing plan, a direct assault on food security for this province, for this country, for the world. Ukraine is the breadbasket of Europe. It has had its shipments of grain curtailed by the Russian invasion. Only a small amount is making it out of the port of Odessa. Who can make up this shortfall in Africa and the Middle East? Unlimited amounts of groundwater are being used in Arizona amid a drought to produce alfalfa for Saudi Arabia. That's hardly sustainable. We have the climate in Haldimand County and this country as a whole to grow alfalfa and grain, and the capacity to ship it abroad. Corn, soybeans, and wheat grow particularly well in Haldimand. The federal government's misguided plan to cut the use of nitrogen fertilizer will severely cut food production across the nation, necessitating the maintenance of existing farmland. The land at Nanticoke needs to be maintained and not developed by Empire Homes. Stelco and MZO are the two largest taxpayers and employers in the county, entities that we need to defend and preserve. As far as attracting new industry, only look at this recent battery plant in St. Thomas. The federal and provincial governments pumped $13.5 billion to entice Volkswagen to build it. Heavy industry was placed at Nanticoke to keep it away from the residential areas. Many houses have been demolished in the Nanticoke area to create greater setbacks. Walpole South School on Sandusky Road was closed and demolished in the 1980s. More recently, a house to the south of the school has disappeared, giving MZO a clear setback all the way to Sandusky. For a full 2 kilometers to the west of Stelco, there are no houses. This needs to be maintained. MZO has given a written submission to the county stating their opposition to the MZO. Stelco commissioned a poll showing support for this is scant amongst the citizens of this county, in the single digits in 3 of the categories. The Empire Homes Nanticoke proposal is not required to comply with the Ford housing plan. It is in conflict with provincial policy and the Haldimand official plan. It would devastate the county with unbearable traffic and demands on and for services. Farmland and a rural small town community would be destroyed forever. I call upon you to stop this project and pass a motion to rescind the MZO.
Thank you, Grant. Is there any questions for Grant? Councillor O'Neill?
I hadn't even buzzed in yet, but I appreciate that. Just sake of everyone, I know they're staying their night here. I think that was about 2.5 minutes without referencing Nanticoke, and I know you mentioned at the start that we're going to keep it specific to that. So I think maybe going forward we can try to tighten that up to the issue at hand. Thank you. And of course, the question, are you in support of or a member of the citizens of Haldimand County for responsible development?
First of all, I did mention Nanticoke, and I am not a member of that. I'm a blue-collar worker. I'm a member of Unifor. I work in a factory, and I'm a member of Wind Concerns Ontario. And the closest wind turbines to the former Stelco property is within 100 meters. If you use the 550 meter standard, that would be 450 meters into the Stelco property, which is now owned by Empire Homes, where you could not build homes. If you use the standard that MZO is set, 1.3 kilometers from their plant to Sandusky Road, if you extend that to the west, you can't build houses there by you know, those kind of standards. Those setbacks were made for a reason, and the wind blows in any direction. I've been in Jarvis when I could smell the
my
emissions.
question was answered, but thank you.
Okay, the emissions from Stelco.
Your question was answered?
Yes, thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Grant. Any further questions for Grant? Seeing none?